California's rock station, Kevin and Sluggo, in the afternoon with St. Jude Rocks, and we have a special guest in the studio, Tiara.
Well, hey, how's it going?
So, Tiara, let's talk about your story a little bit. When you were a baby, you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yes, I was diagnosed at 13 months old in 1993 and with neuroblastoma, which is the cancer of the sympathetic nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first 3 years of my treatment, I was actually treated in Oregon with just surgery because my doctor at the time thought that he could get rid of it with just surgery. And finally, right before my 4th birthday, that doctor told my parents, she's terminal, there's no hope for her, save your money and your insurance company's money, and just take her home and let her pass away.
That's what I heard you say on the radio earlier today. I'm like, well, what a
Wow.
I understand maybe where their mindset is at, but did he not know about St. Jude?
At that point, they did not know about St. Jude, and so it's like a movie, because that night they went home dumbfounded. What are we going to do with our baby girl? And they saw a St. Jude commercial.
Wow.
And they called the hospital, and they accepted me as a patient. We flew out within the week and immediately started intensive treatment, which included multiple chemotherapies, about 40-something surgeries, radiation on both sides of my torso, and an autologous bone marrow transplant, which means I was able to receive my own bone marrow back. And when I relapsed again after my bone marrow transplant, the doctors at St. Jude told my mom, "We've never had a patient grow up after this happened. We think she's terminal." And I, being
telling you that, and your parents that.
And as a child, I had no sense of tact.
Right.
I literally had no sense of tact, and I said, "I'm going to make new statistics."
Yeah! Good for you.
How and when did you lose your hearing? You're legally deaf?
Yes, I am legally deaf. I lost my hearing due to chemotherapies that contain platinum that were necessary to save my life, but unfortunately, within the span of a month, around the time I was 4 or 5, is when I received these chemotherapies. I lost the bulk of my hearing in that very short amount of time. I've received speech therapy, I use hearing aids, and I lip read quite well.
You do, because, I mean, we're in a studio, everybody's in different parts of the room, and you're able to, keep throwing everything out there. And I just want to say, so they had told your parents, like, just to take you home or whatever, but thanks to St. Jude, that didn't happen. I mean, you went to St. Jude, and you can help out and make that happen for someone else if you text the word rock right now to the number 785-833. You text the word rock to 785-833. So you went in the first time when you were like 4, right?
Right, to St. Jude, and I've been in remission since I was 12. I had neuroblastoma, I like to say, about 5 separate times, because I would go into remission and have no evidence of cancer, and then I would relapse out of nowhere. And
so frustrating.
It was probably more for my mom than I was, because like I said, I had no sense of tact, and I just took things as they were, and I would constantly tell my mom, "Don't worry, Mommy, if I die, the angels will come and take me up to heaven, and I can watch cartoons on color TV." I can only and I would draw pictures constantly of the angels taking me to heaven. I can only imagine how hard that was for my mom.
So you're legally deaf. When did you start singing?
I like to say I started singing before I could form words. So as a child, I would wear these frilly Easter dresses that my mom's best friend would sew, and with my bald head, I'd skip down the hall singing at the top of my lungs, and everybody thought, "What a cute little girl." And so that love of singing continued on throughout my life. And so when I went to college, I actually got a double major in biology and vocal performance. And so even though I'm legally deaf, I'm a classically trained operatic soprano, and I do musical theater.
Check you out.
So impressive.
No kidding.
You so make us feel bad about ourselves.
No!
Thanks a lot, Tiara.
If you would like to help people like Tiara, you can text the word rock to the number 785-833 and be a partner in hope, which is $19 a month. And it helps people like Tiara, who has had a long, hard road. You don't look like a person that's had a long, hard road.
No, you don't. You're so smiling, and you're just so happy, and it's incredible. Now, this is an insane question, but because of all you've already accomplished, but do you have other things now you have your mind set on, you want to move towards and get done?
So even though I've been working on a vaccine and cure for HIV for 5.5 years, I actually I want to work.
Rewind that.
I'm just gonna run past that. What have you been doing for 5 years?
Well, I'm an assistant research scientist at the Vaccine and Gene Therapy Institute at Oregon Health and Science University, and so I work. I use a flow cytometer, and I run samples, and I help contribute to the research that we currently have an HIV vaccine in human trials right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, and so, but going down the line, I'm a little thinking, I feel so in my element when I'm talking about St. Jude and sharing my story. My dream job now would be to work for St. Jude doing this for a living, and I really hope I can accomplish that at some point.
I'm sure they'd be very happy to have you. I'm sure they'd be very happy to have you, absolutely. I mean, and one thing that just pops into my mind is, like, maybe you listening right now, you know someone whose child, or will hear about someone's child who's diagnosed with cancer. And like Tiara here, you can now tell them about St. Jude. You can make sure that this is one of the best things about, because your parent, your doctor didn't know about St. Jude, which is stunning to me. It's just, it seems like everyone who's dealing with cancer as a doctor should know about St. Jude at this point in time.
Right. Especially given the fact that St. Jude has raised the survival odds by incredible numbers. And my favorite statistic to share is for ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. In 1962, when St. Jude opened, the survival rate was 4%, and now, today, it is 94%.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
In 1962 and 94% now. Wow.
Wow. And then they take all of this information and they share it around the world with any doctors that are dealing with cancer, right?
Right. And so one of my doctors is actually the head of St. Jude Global. And so when the war in Ukraine started happening, they were bringing over Ukrainian children who needed to continue the treatment. And I was so proud to say, that was my doctor.
That's awesome.
St. Jude does amazing things, not only for children in the United States, but all around the world. And the fact that families can come and not have to worry about the hospital bill, not have to worry about lodging or travel or food, they just have to focus on the health of their child. And that's what really matters.
Yeah.
St. Jude is incredible, and I was telling them how I have so many more good memories of St. Jude than I do bad. And that's truly a testament to how powerful of a place St. Jude is.
No kidding. I mean, the time I spent in the hospital, it's hell. I think back of one of the little
hospitals
tiny
all
things,
suck.
nothing things.
They all suck.
Yeah. And the last thing in the world I want to do is go back to any of those hospitals.
And I actually go back every 5 years on average. I'm a part of the LIFE study, which looks at the long-term effects of pediatric cancer and pediatric cancer survivors. And so every 5 years on average, I get to go back to Memphis, Tennessee, and not only see the growth of St. Jude as a hospital, but to see the children that are currently going through what I went through, and maybe not only offer them a little bit of hope that, yes, they can get through it and grow up, but also maybe down the line, some of the side effects that, unfortunately, I do suffer with, like, maybe won't happen in children in the future, because I can give back in that way. St. Jude didn't charge me to save my life, but what I can do is donate my time and my body back to their research, and hopefully we can continue to make cures.
St. Jude did not charge you, and that's why we're asking for our listeners to text the word ROCK to the number 785-833 and become a partner in hope, so that you can help people like Tiara and her family when they have to go through this.
And it's just $19 a month. I mean, you will be amazed at and there's ways of seeing all the progress too that's going on at the hospital for the people that donate, right? I mean, they can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. St. Jude has a lot of great media. They did an article about me back in 2020 that shared my journey as a deaf musician. But you can see current patients, you can see survivors, everything. Just check out their website.
Nice. Tiara, what kind of music do you like then? What's your favorite sort of music?
Well, as a biological musician or a musical biologist, whatever you want to call me, I love all sorts of musics, but I really love singing classical.
Nice.
I love musical theater, and I myself am a vocal coach, and so I teach music from a multi-sensory perspective, so that maybe as children or people grow up and they lose their hearing, they can hopefully still use their other senses, such as physical touch, like I use, vibration, to have that instilled sense of pitch.
Wow.
So Anna from St. Jude is here in the studio. What do we do to get her hired at St. Jude?
Oh, I mean, I don't think it'll be too hard.
Yeah, right? So good. All right, so please help out now. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with us, Tiara.
Well, thank you to you guys, and also I just want to say thank you to everybody out there who's listening right now, anybody who's donated in the past, who's thinking about donating. We truly couldn't do it without you all. St. Jude runs on donations, and without people like you giving your money and your time, cures wouldn't happen. So thank you, everybody listening.
And the word to text the word rock to the number 785-833. Rock to 785-833.
Yay!